JD,
like that.
Do you expect a C.J. Stroud-type season from Caleb Williams?
I do. I truly do. The thing is, when we talk about the C.J. Stroud and how good of his rookie season it was, right, he did have some up and downs, and that's part of being a rookie, right? We all want to just look at him getting to his team to the playoffs and him winning the playoff game, but before you got there, he had some good, really highs, he had some lows, and he did this the whole way, but he was getting better and better and better. So I think Caleb Williams, we'll see that part of Caleb Williams. And also, just the coaches were talking about it, when you compete at a high level, man, and you're never satisfied, you always have a chance to be elite. And I think these two quarterbacks, they have the talent part of it. That was the easy part for them, which most people don't have that type of talent. But the hardest part for them is just actually going out there and doing it because they are so young, right? I do think that would be different from Caleb Williams because the division will be a lot harder, right? Look at the division with the Colts, Indianapolis Colts. You had, who else you got? You got the Jags, Titans. Right? So it's not as hard. I do think that when you're playing the Packers twice a year, right? Even though Minnesota is not what we think they are this year, but then you do have the Lions, who is better and better and better. So it's going to be hard for them to have a year like C.J. Stroud, but I do think from just the talent standpoint and competing and getting better every week, we will see that.
Statistically, yes, I think he'll have a C.J. Stroud-type season. I think he's going to have a really good rookie season. Outside of the fact that I think he's super talented, he's coming into a good situation for a rookie quarterback. They put a lot of really talented veteran pieces in place. The GM is somebody who is intentionally trying to elevate the organization. They're taking winning seriously. They're shifting away from what has been the Bears brand for so long, which is run the ball, defense. Like there was a time in the NFL where that worked and you could win at a high level. That's not the case anymore. So they're shifting into a modern NFL. I think he'll be the first quarterback in Bears history to throw for more than 4,000 yards. I think he will break every Bears rookie quarterback record very easily. But overall, outside of all of that, what made C.J. Stroud's rookie season so spectacular is they won the division and they won a playoff game. So do I think that the Bears are in position to win the division? I don't know if I can jump that far. Do I think that? Do I think that they will win a playoff game? I don't know I'm ready to say that either. But that's all a part of what C.J. Stroud and the Texans did last year. There's a reason why these expectations and the buzz for the Texans are so high because of what they did last year. So I don't really care about what the Bears' regular season or postseason success is this year. What I care about seeing from the Bears is that they look like they're building a culture, and Caleb Williams looks like he can play at a high level in the NFL, that he gets better throughout the season. He's going to struggle at some point this season. Everyone does. Even the best, even an MVP does. Yeah. Like that's how the game is played. You're not going to win every game. You're not going to be perfect. He's going to throw interceptions. He's going to have moments. That's part of the game. But I think that he is going to have a C.J. Stroud-type season in that the way that we look at C.J. Stroud right now is how we will look at Caleb Williams going into next season. But, TJ, what do you think?
I agree. And you touched on it. Ryan Poles has taken the Chicago Bears from this archaic way of building the team, run game and defense. We acquire Keenan Allen. We already have DJ Moore. We draft Rome Odunze. We bring in DeAndre Swift as a running back. You already have Cole Kmet as a tight end. That offensive, he's not just going to have to rely on one person. You're going to have a really, probably the best slot receiver in the league in Keenan Allen. DJ Moore, Rome Odunze. When you look at a play and it's like, I want to get the ball to him, he's not going to have that I got to force the ball to this player. He has so many weapons. And 100%, I believe he will have a C.J. Stroud-type season. Now, what I'm interested in, can he have a C.J. Stroud-type season with the turnovers? That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
He only had 9 turnovers last year. And if he can do that, the Bears won't win the division. I believe they're going to compete for a playoff spot. But winning the division is tough when you have Green Bay and Detroit. But competing for a playoff spot is very, very, very realistic. I expect Caleb Williams to throw for 4,000 yards as a rookie.
Yeah.
He'll be spectacular now. Will he have some ebbs and flows, some highs and lows? Absolutely. But the talent that he is, he'll overcome that.
Yeah, I agree with y'all, and I don't want to say it's going to be easy, but I think it's very realistic, and I don't think we're putting a ton on Caleb, was the #1 overall pick in the draft, to think that he can play that way. And y'all touched on it, but I just want to illustrate this. It's not my intention to hate on C.J. Stroud. He was so good last year. But I do think people get wrapped up in the end of the story, and they forget about how we got there. You know, like, They won a playoff game, you're right. And then they traded for Stephon Diggs, and they are very rightly seen as a Super Bowl contender type of team. But take it back and remember what actually happened. In December of last year, the Texans were 7-6. They'd gotten crushed by the Jets. See, it was a very up and down type of year. And then they win 3 of 4 down the home stretch. Remember, they had to beat the Colts on the last weekend of the season, and it was a tight game. It came down to the final possession. This was not a team that was dominating everybody. They had to fight to get in there.
And the Jags.
And the Jags collapsed as well. You're absolutely right. Trevor Lawrence dealing with injuries. Their defense fell apart. It all worked together to where they get in as the 4 seed. And to their credit, they blew the doors off the Browns. They played so much better in that game than anybody gave them credit for. But I think people see that and they forget about the journey. So do I think that Caleb Williams is capable of trading wins and losses, flirting with 4,000 yards, throwing 23 touchdown passes? Yeah, I think he can do that. And TJ makes a great point. I think he threw 5 picks last year? Just an insanely low number of picks. Take care of the ball like that. That's the first step. And then, 23 touchdowns. I hate to say it, but that should be an achievable goal for any starting quarterback in this league. So I agree with you, Joy. The NFC North is tough. I'm not ready to say that they can win that division in his first year, but they'll be in the conversation in December, and Caleb's going to play well, and that would put him in the same category as C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, I don't think it's hating to talk about what actually happened during the season.
You're right, but that's the world we live in now, where, if I point
We're saying what actually happened is hating. It's the tone of voice that you use. If you say it with a smile, then it doesn't sound as bad. Like, when you say that, the Texans had to take advantage of the Jacksonville Jaguars completely falling apart down the stretch. And obviously, it's not the best division, so that also helps that the Jags. I can't hold my face. The Jags.
That was good, though.
It was good. It was like 15 seconds. You're not dealing with one other good team in the division. You're dealing with 2, and they're not just good teams. The Lions were in the NFC Championship game. The Packers blew out the Dallas Cowboys with 9 All-Pros at home. Like, this is a real division. And again, we're not talking about the Vikings because, nobody cares about the Vikings. The Vikings are perfectly capable of stealing some divisional games.
The Vikings, I don't think, will be a bad team this year.
I don't think they're a playoff team, but they're going to win some games. This is a very, very, very tough division. So we're just overlooking some of the mess that they can cause when we're talking about who's actually going to win this division. And I just think that matters when you're talking about the expectations for what the wins and losses would be for this Bears team. The Bears are going to be better than they were last year. They're going to look functional. They're going to be elevated by Caleb Williams' play. All those things are true. But what as Shady always says, and I completely co-sign, he's a rookie. And those expectations should be reasonable because it doesn't matter what he does this year. It matters what he does with his career. You want to see some growth. You want to see C.J. Stroud get to go down the stretch and win big games and win in big moments. And that's really what we're looking for. Speaking of, how much do you want to see Caleb Williams play in the preseason? He did not play in the Hall of Fame game last week. How much do you want to see him play, Shady?
He got to play enough, right? We know he's a hell of a talent, but he's not getting hit in practice, and guys aren't getting close to you. Even the coaches blowing the whistle when you get close to the quarterback, but even before that, in the mind of a defender, is like, I can't get too close to our starting quarterback. So I need to see him really in live action, live bullets. When I say that, I need to see what happens when the defender gets in your face and then he rolls out, because Caleb plays off script. That's what makes him special. What does it look like now? Because now these defenders, these ain't the Pac-12. Is that what it is, Pac-12? It's not that no more. That's that
Big Ten now.
That conference is just regular. You know what I'm saying? These dudes are really, really good. So I just want to see how he looks. I know he's talented. I just want to see what it looks like. And then another thing is the timing. I think because of the names on the paper, we automatically just put them up it's going to be a really, really great offensive year. But it's a whole new offense, right? Just think about this for a second. You got a new running back that wasn't there. Your starting wide receiver. Okay, so you got DJ Moore. He's been there, but he's still new with him. He hasn't played with him yet. Yeah. Keelan's new, right?
Holmes a rookie.
Tight end. Everybody is new here. So I just want to see what it looks like. We would love to think it's going to be excellent, but how do you know? Everything's timing. What pass do you like? Who's my number one guy that goes to man-on-man coverage? All these quarterbacks I've played with, they're really good ones. They know this. Okay, when it's bumper run man, I know who I'm going to. Okay, it's off press, it's off. I know who I'm what passes or what plays are called for certain individuals. So if we don't get no type of timing, how do you know? I go back to when I was playing. I hated when I got really, really good where they didn't want to play me in the preseason. I'm like, I need to, because when they didn't play me, I would get to a game, normal cuts I would make, I'm stumbling over my feet, right? like reads that I know I could do this in my sleep. I'm kind of like not sure. And then by like second quarter, now I'm warmed up. I don't know if you went through that at all, but it's like getting the knocking the rust off, like a boxer that hasn't boxed in a long time, right? He's trying to figure out the timing until if he's not active. You get what I'm saying? So I just want to see Caleb Williams from college to the pros. What's he look like in an NFL environment?
TJ, did you like preseason?
If we were playing against a defense that had good players, I wanted to play. If they were going to play. If they weren't going to
play against the guys that were trying to make the team?
No. You just have
That's how stuff goes wrong.
There's no excitement, no energy. So you just kind of out there like, how many series we got? How many? Like, seriously.
But you did want to play when the ones.
Oh yeah, if we're playing against the ones and I know they playing, I'm like, I want to play about 2 series.
Because of timing, or?
No, just because the timing was there. Because you rep it so much.
But y'all had, I feel like, and you know better than I do, but y'all core group of wide receivers and your quarterback, like
we were a constant.
It was nice. They knew each other. Yeah.
For me, with Caleb Williams, I would say 20 snaps a game, but I don't even want to put a number on it. What I would like to see is, if you go 1 series, give me 2 or 3 first downs. I'm okay with that. I just want to see chemistry and production from the first team offense. That's what I want to see. So if you get the ball and you go down and get 2 or 3 first downs, you punt, that may be it for me because I saw what I needed to see. You don't even have to score. I saw what I needed to see. We moved the ball. We got some first downs. We might have had a penalty reason the drive stalled. That's what I want to see is, can he throw the ball with anticipation and timing? Are they on the same page? Is the offensive line blocking? Are we running the ball? If we can see that, I'm good. So I wouldn't put a number on it. Give me 2 or 3 first downs. That's going to be about 14 plays right there. We good.
Let me ask you this question, though. What about, like, Andy Reid would always make all the starters play. I don't care who he was. Now, I wasn't playing because I wasn't with him. I was with somebody else. But, like, Patrick Mahomes, he's going to play in the preseason. My thing is, how do you feel about getting enough tape to coach a young player? So I'm not talking about a veteran. I'm talking about a rookie, right? Rookie quarterback, rookie wide receiver. I need to see enough tape on you, not no practice, live bullets flying to teach you and coach you up.
I think the biggest problem for young quarterbacks, it's going to be recognizing blitzes. Everybody in the preseason is vanilla. Is when I ID the mic, can I redirect the point because he's not blitzing now, so I'm going to redirect it to the guy that I think is blitzing because I want the line to block him. I don't want a running back to block him. It's, can you recognize and see that? Those are coaching points. As far as throwing it on time and recognize, it's going to be pretty vanilla. Now, if you can get a team that's going to blitz you, that's what I want to see is how does he recognize that?
Dave, how much do you want to see Caleb play in the preseason?
This is a tricky one because of everything y'all just outlined. I mean, I want to see him play, but I do think you have to be smart with this. Like, normally I would say, me personally, and I get that I'm about to disagree with Andy Reid. Me personally, I don't want my quarterback in there if he doesn't need to be. It's just too valuable of a player. But Caleb's a rookie. Normally, I would say all rookies need to play because they've never done this before. But he's the franchise. I mean, he is the key to the success of this season. Maybe that's not fair because DJ Moore has done a lot in this league. So has Keenan Allen. I get it. He's the quarterback. He's got to be available. I think you got to strike the balance. I'm kind of with TJ. I'd like to see him do a couple series against Buffalo, and then maybe in the second game, I don't remember who they play, but get him a half there. Half a dozen series, and then get him on the bench. And that's not enough work, but that's the world that you live in. And I'd rather he make those mistakes and learn that stuff when it matters than lose him when it doesn't. So he needs the work, but you got to be smart about it.
Did you say in the second game, a full half? I like that, too.
So, yeah, they play the Bengals the second game. So, like, if he gets a half, maybe 4 or 5 series.
I be thinking about things like Andy Reid always, like, he always makes sure everybody knows the 2-minute situations, right? Like the overtime stuff where a lot of teams don't really go over it. But he does. So I want to see, how do you operate this offense in a 2-minute drill? Because 2-minute drill in practice, right, you probably do that the least amount of everything, like the situations. So we'll do it, right? But sometimes it's half speed, or sometimes it's like, okay.
The game, it's just different in the game. It's different.
Because 2 minutes, like, I want to see how you operate. Yo, some teams play off, some teams blitz, some teams get out your hand. Like, all these things do occur in a real game. So how does my quarterback look? My new quarterback that I love, my franchise, what's he like in 2-minute drill, right? Small things that you don't even think about, I want to see because, yo, I can correct this in practice, and we watching tape. But if we never get to a point where we're having real live action, it's only just talking about it.
I completely get it, and I don't disagree, but the reality is Would you rather he be learning that stuff on the fly against Tennessee week 1, September 8th, because he's healthy? Or, God forbid, knock on all the wood, you lose him doing this.
We can't play like that.
That's the risk of the preseason. You have to weigh that stuff.
The football is not your thing then. You can't play it because you're going to get injured. That's what it is.
It's easy. I know it's a 100% chance of injury game, but you are in charge of how much these guys go out there.
Yeah, but you can also not, you can't not play in preseason either.
And that's why.
Like, Aaron Rodgers played 4 snaps and his entire season was over.
You have to strike the balance.
It is football. Nobody's saying that he should be out there playing start to finish every single preseason game. But he does still need to be out there.
Joy, you know what, though? When you're a rookie, you want to play.
You want to play. I can't wait to play.
I'm telling you right now.
He's saying the reps are
anybody that's a rookie,
of course he wants to play.
This is your dream.
Yeah.
This is what you envisioned your entire life. So he wanted to play in the Hall of Fame game. And so he wants to play. And then once you kind of get your feet wet, it's like, okay, I got it.
Yeah. In no way do I think that he doesn't want to play. Like, this question is what are the Bears going to do with him? I'm sure he probably wants to play the whole game.
When you look at their offensive line, depending on their age, like when you've been like Keenan Allen, he want to go a series and I'm done.
Right.
Because
in year 12.
Yeah, that offensive line, if they're an older group of guys, they don't want to play a bunch of series.
Right.
But when you got Caleb Williams in, that first team O-line, you in the game.
Yeah,
that's the thing. So that's a great point.
You have to manage that also is, okay, our O-line, they're young. But we're not subbing in no guys on that O-line when Caleb Williams is in at the game. So you have to manage the other guys also alongside Caleb Williams.
I was telling James that probably like last week, he was talking about if all the starters got to play. And I was like, yo, no. If your quarterback is the guy you really want to see, right? Him, and then you got Rome in there. He wants to see what he looks like. But I was telling him, there's some offensive linemen that's not starting right now, right? But they are fighting for that starting job. There's certain offensive linemen where maybe before camp is started, this is our starter. And then as a GM, okay, the backup is fighting for it. So it might be times where the backup lineman is blocking for Kipper because in their mind, he might be our starter, right? It happens all the time in preseason. That don't happen?
It does. But
yeah, I know.
I'm not trying to.
You can look like,
I'm not trying to put Caleb or any starting quarterback out there with guys that I don't feel sure about. And I think that's the point that all that stuff informs each other decision. Like if Darnell Wright's the right tackle in Chicago, if he's not available to play, do you want starters coming off the edge at Caleb Williams? I know I don't. And if you do have to do that, you don't want it to be for a long time. So he's got to play. He's a young player, but you just gotta. I think you got to be smart about it. If he gets 6 series of work in this entire preseason, I think that's good enough.
C.J. Stroud played in 3 games in the preseason last year.
Yeah, ironically, he struggled too. Like he didn't have a great preseason, and then.
Did you think that helped him out in the regular season?
Of course it did.
That's what I'm saying. Because I don't care who it is. I don't care who y'all want to scream about. As a rookie, you're gonna have some bad plays, some bad games, some bad series. The question is when you get it out. When you get it out, right? Because if you look at C.J. Stroud, I mean, he up and down, like I said, up and down, up and down. Okay, then he finally, I got a better one for you, Jordan Love. Before this last year, when he actually played really well, even that year he was up and down. But the first time I ever seen him play, I was like, yo, who is the quarterback that's backing A-Rod, right? Y'all remember the game?
Yes, we do.
But you got to get it out there, though. My first play, I can't even lie, it's embarrassing. I'm going to say it. Donovan McNabb was the quarterback. I was starting. Brian Westbrook was hurt, so they let me start. And he threw me I had like a flat route, right? I'm checking, my protection. I really don't know what I'm looking at. I should have been out. I roll out, right? I'm late. He throws the ball. Boom, hits me in the back of the head. I don't get the ball, right? But now it's lateral because it didn't go past line of scrimmage. The dude picks it up and scores. You know how embarrassing that was? But I was so happy because I said, yo, now I know, when I protect, get out. If my guy's not blitzing, get out there and get early so I get the ball. So you need to have these moments where you get all that rust out on them bad plays.
Preseason or in a game?
Preseason. Oh, in the game? No, preseason. And then with the crazy thing, I told Coach, I said, yo, I know you don't believe me this, Andy Reid. I know you're not going to believe me, Coach. But, yo, I couldn't see the ball in the lights. Do you know why? Because in football and college, there's white lines. Yeah. It's a night game. There's white lines on the ball so I can track it. Oh, excuse me. And when he threw it, I couldn't track it because in the NFL, there's no lines on the ball. It's small things like that. You think it's funny, but it's real. So when I went back to the huddle, or I went back to the sideline explaining to Andy Reid, he looked at me like, what? And then he was like, that makes sense. And it's preseason, so he's smiling, right? If it's a real game, it might have got ugly.
Yeah, you ain't getting back in there.
But the moral of the story is this, man. Get out there, shoot your shots, all right? It's like shooting your DM. You're going to get a DM eventually.
Shoot or shoot. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.